Good day, senior high icons. This is Miss Veronica Balor, your instructor in personnel development. For today's lesson, we will be moving on to Module 2. Module 2 discusses the development of the whole person. But before we proceed to our topic for today, let us know first what are the objectives of this topic. So, at the end of this module, you will be able to first discuss the relationship among physiological, cognitive, psychological, spiritual, and social aspects of development, as well as to understand your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Second is to evaluate your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. And lastly, the third is to show the connection of your thoughts, feelings, and actions to actual life situations. Okay? So,
You must have heard many of the teenagers around you constantly saying things like, "Nobody understands me. I feel so lonely," and many such things. Do you recall hearing such comments from elders? Even if you have, it would have been a rare occurrence. But then why do we always hear such comments mostly from teenagers? Is there any specific reason for this? The basic answer to this question is adolescence and puberty. Now you may wonder why this happens. Puberty gets with it several changes in the person. So do you think these changes will only be the physical changes? Of course not. The changes are mental, emotional, and psychological as well. Let's have a quick glance at the various changes which adolescent individuals go through.
to start with our lesson for today, let me ask you a question. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about being a teenager? So as you all know, being a teenager or the teenage period or being adolescents is what you are right now. It's either you are 16, 17, 18, 19, that is adolescence. Or that is what you call teenage period. So, ano yung pumapasok sa isip niyo when you hear this word? Teenager. Ito ba yung, ay, magagawa ko na yung mga bagay na hindi ko nagagawa dati. Pwede na akong mag-boyfriend, pwede na akong mag-girlfriend, pwede na akong gumala kasama yung mga kaibigan ko, pwede na akong magpagabi ng uwi, pwede na akong uminom, pwede na akong mag-party-party. Yun po ba ang pumapasok sa isip niyo when you hear the word teenage period or being a teenager? Okay, so it is very important that you as a teenager ay kilala mo yung buong ikaw, yung buong pagkatao mo, or yung tinatawag na whole person or holistic person. But first, what is holistic? What is holistic development? Or what is whole person? So, there are various elements involved in the holistic development of an individual. So, pag sinabi pong holistic development, it refers to the process of actualization and learning that combines an individual's mental, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual growth. Human life is complex and it is consists of many different phases. We have our school life, our home life, our social life, our spiritual life, and so on. So, ang isang tao, marami yang ginagampanan. Okay? Marami yung buhay. Hindi lamang buhay sa pamilya, hindi lamang buhay sa estudyante, marami po. At yun po ang tinutukoy na holistic development. Okay? We tend to think of these areas as separate. After all, they each take place in different settings. They require wholly different tasks, and they include different atmospheres and social interactions. So what we often fail to realize is that each of the sectors of our lives impacts one another. That is where whole person development comes in. So dito na po papasok ang holistic development. Okay? Whole person development is a practice based on the theory that different parts of our lives are intricately connected. It views success and fulfillment as a product of overall life balance. So, by viewing the different aspects of our lives as a whole, rather than separately, we can set ourselves up for a balanced and prosperous life. So, ano ba yung different aspects of being a whole person? So, the first aspect is physiological development or yung tinatawag na physical changes. So, being a teenager, nakakaranas ka ng mga pagbabago sa iyong panlabas na itsura. Okay? Rapid body growth, like your height, yung mga pagbabago sa iyong katawan, hair growth, muscle modification. Niisipin mo nung bata ka, di ba? Meron nga tayong tinatawag na puberty hits. Puberty hits you hard. Okay? Kasi nung bata ka, nene na nene ka, totoy ka pa. If you are going to have throwback pictures, natatawa ka na lang. So, being a teenager, meron din tayong nararanasang development physically. And these changes are preparing you to become physically capable of biological reproduction. So, etong pagbabago na ito, hindi lang ito dahil automatic siya. So this physiological development, ito po ay may kaakibat na responsibilidad. Kasi dito, magbabago na yung buhay mo. So lahat ng magiging desisyon mo sa buhay ay magkakaroon ng pagbabago. And there will be responsibility. Okay? So that is one aspect of holistic development, which is your physical appearance. Okay? The second one is cognitive development. Cognitive, intellectual, or mental. The way you think. That is also an aspect of whole person or holistic development. So the brain continues to develop. Paano po nangyayari? You are beginning to think from concrete to abstract terms and able to conceptualize theoretical ideas. So nung bata ka, meron kang mga bagay na hindi maintindihan. Nung bata ka, meron kang mga bagay na hindi pa kayang maintindihan. May mga sitwasyon sa buhay mo na hindi mo alam bakit yun nangyayari. You cannot understand it. And problems are now being evaluated logically and scientifically. So this teenage period, this point in your life, being adolescent, you are expected to see things differently. Yung sitwasyon mo sa buhay, mga problemang kinakaharap mo in this point of your life, being a teenager, you are expected na maintindihan mo na ito and you evaluate it logically. Kasi marunong ka nang magtimbang kung ano ang tama sa mali. Okay? That is cognitive development. The third one is we will proceed to psychological development. So it talks about the changes in your emotions, feelings, mood, and manner of thinking. Okay? So dito na po papasok how you express your feelings. Dito na po pumapasok yung tinatawag na maturity ng isang tao. So ask yourself, are you matured enough? Okay? Or may mga panahon na immature pa rin. Okay? So during adolescence, individuals undergo the process of self-evaluation. Assess yourself. Evaluate yourself. Okay? It will lead you to a long-range goal setting, emotional and social independence, and to what we call maturity. So in this point of your life, you are expected to be matured enough. Hindi man ganun ka matured, but make sure na may pagbabago. Hindi na selfish, hindi na childish, hindi na nagmamaktol sa magulang kapag hindi na ibibigay yung gusto. So, meron ng pagbabago. The way you express your feelings. Hindi na pwede yung kapag hindi na pagbigyan, iiyak. Hindi na pwede yung katulad ng bata ka na kapag napagsabihan ka, iiyak, magdadabog. So, meron ang tinatawag na maturity. May development. Okay? So, now let's proceed to the fourth one, which is social development. So, dito po may changes. You begin to rely more on your friends or peer groups for support than on your family. So, kadalasan po or madalas nga talaga, mas nakakapagsabi pa tayo ng mga problema natin sa ating mga kaibigan, sa ating mga barkada. Dinadaan sa inom, dinadaan sa party-party kapag may problema. Kasi na-develop yung social life. Okay? But negatively or on the other side, meron siyang negative na effect. Kasi how you are being prone to peer pressure. May mga bagay na ginagawa yung mga kaibigan mo na dati hindi mo ginagawa, tapos nagagawa mo na rin ngayon. It's like yung mga bisyo na dati wala ka, pero nung naging teenager ka, nagkaroon ka ng mga barkada, nagagawa mo na yung mga bagay nito. And sometimes, nakakalimutan na natin kung ano yung tama sa mali. So, in holistic development, it's very important to take note of this social development. Isipin mong mabuti, tama ba yung development mo, how you communicate with your family, how you take your barkada or your friends instead of your family. So, you assess yourself. And the last one, or the last development, is yung tinatawag nating spiritual development. So, in this stage or in this development, you begin to have interest in spiritual concerns. So maybe some of you actively participating in a church, mayroong mga Bible study, may mga campus ministries, may devotion. So you start pondering on the questions concerning existence of God, essence of spirituality, faith, religion, and your relationship with God. So it doesn't matter what your religion is. What's important is you have faith and personal relationship with God. Okay? Kahit man lang kapag kakain ka, mag-pray ka. You thank God of all the blessings. Sa kabila ng pandemya na nararanasan natin ngayon, you and your family is safe. Okay? Sa kabilang mga community quarantine, kumakain kayo 3 times a day, yung may mga natatanggap kayong tulong mula sa ibang tao or sa gobyerno man yan, that is also a blessing na kung saan dapat we give God our highest praise. Okay? So, napaka-importante po that as a teenager, meron kang personal na relationship kay Lord. Hindi po ito, it doesn't matter what your religion is, Catholic ka man, born again, okay, Iglesia or INC, kahit ano pa yan. What's important is, you thank God for all the blessings, you pray, kapag gigising ka sa umaga, you pray, you thank God for being healthy, for being safe, you and your family, your friends. So, in this development or aspect of your life, napakahalaga rin po. Okay? Maayos man ang iyong physical, maayos man ang iyong cognitive or intellectual, maayos man ang iyong emotional, pero kung yung spiritual development ay hindi nyo pa po nabibigyang pansin, it is time. Okay? It is time to seek God. Okay? That is very important bilang isang tao. Now that we are done discussing the development of the whole person, or yung tinatawag nating holistic development, it is very important that you know how to evaluate your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So in this lesson, we will discuss how or why do we need to evaluate one's thoughts, feelings, or behaviors. But before that, let us first discuss what are thoughts. So as you all know, thoughts refers to the ideas or arrangements of ideas as a result from thinking or the act of producing thoughts. Okay? The way a person thinks or yung nilalaman ng iyong isip. Ngayon, ano ba ang nilalaman ng iyong isip? Okay? So, thoughts are influential. Kasi kung ano yung laman ng isip mo, yun yung nagiging behavior mo, yun yung nagiging feeling mo. Okay? So when you know how to handle your thoughts, everything will fall into its right place. Okay? So aside from thoughts, let us define also a feeling. So, syempre, alam nyo naman what is a feeling. Okay? Yung emotions. It denotes a state of consciousness such as sentiments or desire. So, makikita nyo dyan, meron tayong iba't ibang emotion. So, ano ba dyan yung kadalasang emotions ninyo or yung madalas na emosyon ninyo? Okay? And the third one is behavior. So behavior, it refers to the range of actions and mannerism made by individuals, organism, or any entities in conjunction with their environment. So hindi lang po tao ang may behavior. Lahat po, even the animals, different organisms, lahat po ay may tinatawag na behavior. Okay? So, ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng behavior doon sa thoughts and feelings? So, behavior can be seen. Ito po yung ina-act mo, inaasta mo. Okay? Kasi yung thought, yung thoughts mo, or yung feelings mo, pwede mo yang itago. Pwede mo yang isalungat doon sa behavior na gusto mong ipakita sa isang tao. So, it is very important to be careful on how you behave. Okay? Kasi yan yung nakikita ng tao, ng ibang tao. But, hindi rin po maganda na itinatago natin kung ano yung nasa isip natin, tinatago natin yung totoong nararamdaman natin para lang maging maganda yung tingin sa atin ng ibang tao. Okay? We need to be true to ourselves. Kung ano yung talagang nararamdaman mo, ano yung talagang laman ng isip mo, you express it. But in a nice way. Okay? Sa maayos na paraan po. Okay? You behave based on what you feel, but make sure you do it in a nice way. Okay? Wala pong hindi nadadaan sa maayos na paraan or walang hindi walang hindi pwedeng maayos kapag maganda ang pakisama mo, maganda yung pakikitungo mo. Kung galit ka, let people know. Kung hindi maganda yung nararamdaman mo sa isang tao, tell them. You have to be true to yourself. Not just to yourself, but to other people as well. Because people, most of the time, like the disguise. Kaya tinatago yung totoong nararamdaman, hindi ma-express yung totoong nararamdaman, which is not good for a person. Kaya nagkakaroon ng mga bagay na, or nagre-resulta ito ng mga bagay na hindi maganda in the end. Kasi we cannot express ourselves. Okay? So, why do we need to evaluate this three? Bakit ba sa tingin mo, kailangan i-assess mo kung ano yung mga bagay na naiisip mo, ano yung nararamdaman mo, and the way you behave? Okay? So, one's thoughts, feelings, and behavior are interconnected and interrelated. Yung tatlo po na yan po ay related sa isa't isa. Okay? So, in fact, they influence and affect one another. Siyempre, kung ano yung nasa isip mo, yun yung mararamdaman mo. And kung ano yung nararamdaman mo, ipapakita mo yun sa ibang tao. Unless na nga lang na hindi mo siya, na itatago mo yung totoong nararamdaman mo, and then hindi yun ipapakita mo sa ibang tao. But yung tama po is that these three are interrelated and interconnected to each other. Okay? So, most negative feelings and behaviors are generated by negative thoughts. Okay? Lahat po ng nararamdaman mo na negative, dahil po yan sa mga negative na naiisip mo. Lagi niyo pong tatandaan, mind over matter. You have to be positive sa lahat ng panahon. Okay? Kasi kung ano yung naiisip mo, kung ano yung nasa isip mo, yun yung mangyayari. If you believe na magiging okay ang lahat, then it will fall into its right place. Okay? Instead na maging negative tayo, why not be positive all the time? Siyempre, may mga panahon na hindi natin may iwasan na makapag-isip tayo ng negative. That is why yung nagiging feeling natin and behavior nagiging negative din. But sa subject na ito po yung itinuturo sa atin na to look on the things positively. Okay? Hindi man maganda yung nangyayari or yung sitwasyon mo ngayon, Learn to see things positively. Okay? So wala namang mawawala. Kung maging positive ka, magiging okay nararamdaman mo, magiging maayos yung sitwasyon. What else? Adolescents are also normally self-conscious and sensitive individuals. Lalo na po ang mga teenagers. Okay? Masyado po tayong nagiging conscious sa ating sarili. Kaya nga may mga panahon na nag-invest tayo na maging maayos yung physical nating itsura. Pero minsan po nakakalimutan nating ayusin yung attitude, yung character. Kasi inaayos natin yung panlabas nating anyo, pero yung the way you behave, yung behavior mo, yung attitude mo, yung character mo, hindi maayos, hindi po yun nagkakaroon ng magandang resulta. So what's important is you assess the way you feel, the way you think, para po yung behavior natin sumusunod din. Okay? Another thing is that making it a habit to assess one's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors will give you the opportunity to appraise the truth or validity of one's belief, appropriateness of one's feelings, and the decency of one's actions and behavior. So, napakahalaga po nito. Okay? Bilang isang teenager, you assess yourself right now. And take note that adolescents should also remember that we always have a choice on how we will look at things. So ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina na palagi po tayong may choice. Paano mo titignan ng isang bagay? Paano mo i-assess yung sitwasyon na meron ka ngayon? Walang mawawala sa iyo if you always look on it positively. Okay? Hindi naman porket you look on the positive side ay hindi mo na ito gagawa ng solusyon. What's good with looking on the positive side of every situation is that hindi naaapektuhan yung relasyon mo sa ibang tao at relasyon mo sa sarili mo. Okay? Because instead na magalit ka, mainis ka na mo at or mawala ng gana, nagpa-function ng maayos yung isip mo. Mas nakakapag-isip ka kung ano yung pwedeng maging solusyon dun sa sitwasyon na meron ka ngayon. And that is what's more important. And the people around us do not necessarily cause our feelings. Okay? Huwag po natin laging sinasabi na dahil sa kanya, dahil sa ibang tao, kaya ganito yung nararamdaman ko. We are the ones responsible for our feelings. Ikaw, feeling mo yan. Okay? Choice mo yan. The way you respond to situations. Okay? We have a choice. We have control over our feelings. Lagi kang may choice. Choice mong maging masaya despite of this pandemic. Choice mo na maging, instead of being anxious or instead na magkaroon ka ng anxiety, mas choice mo na maging positive. Mas choice mo na instead of worrying, mas pinipili mong maging masaya. Mas pinipili mong maging calm. Okay? Instead na mag-rant ka with online classes, mas iniisip mong sumunod. Hindi naman masamang magreklamo. But make sure you do it in a good way. Make sure you do it in a nice way. Maaayos po ang mga bagay-bagay kung gagawin po natin sa maayos na paraan. Okay? Lagi niyong tatandaan na lahat ng nararamdaman mo, lahat ng feelings mo, emotion mo, it's on you. Ikaw ang mamimili. If you will look on it negatively sa sitwasyon, or you will always look on the positive side of things and situations. Another, negative thoughts, counterproductive feelings, and self-destructive behaviors should not enslave us. Huwag natin sinasabi na ito yung nararamdaman ko eh. Ayoko maging plastic. No. Kailangan po matutunan mo that negative thoughts should not enslave you. Okay? Kasi kung palagi kang mag-iisip negatively, what will happen? Hindi ka makakapag-isip ng maayos. Hindi mo masusolusyonan yung problema mo. Because you look on the things or the situations negatively. Okay? Paano mo maiisip yung tama na dapat mong gawin? Paano mo maiisip yung mga solusyon na pwedeng mong gawin sa mga problema na nararanasan mo if you always have these negative thoughts in your mind? Okay? And from that negative thoughts, nagiging magulo yung feeling mo. And then, because of that feelings or negative feelings, yung behavior mo, nakakasama sa'yo. Hindi lang yun, nakakasama rin sa mga tao na makakasalamuha mo because negative ka. Ang nangyayari, lagi kang galit, lagi kang inis. Okay, so what will happen? Okay? Tandaan po, negative thoughts, counterproductive feelings, and self-destructive behaviors, hindi po tayo dapat enslave nito. You always have a choice. You always have control over your feelings. Okay? And we have the power to rid ourselves of harmful thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Tulad nga po ng sinasabi ko kanina, lagi kang may choice. Lagi kang may power or kapangyarihan na alisin yung sarili mo sa mga negative thoughts, negative feelings, and of course, yung mga harmful behaviors. Lagi po natin itong iwasan. So, I would like to share to you the cognitive behavior therapy. Psychologists Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck introduced this. So, ano yung cognitive behavior therapy? So, alam nyo naman, when we say cognitive, it is the way of think. And then, dyan po susunod yung iyong behavior. Example, yung kaibigan mo, dumating siya. Dire-diretso, hindi ka niya napansin. So, ang mangyayari, mag-iisip ka ngayon, baka galit siya sa akin. Baka may nagawa ako sa kanya. So, ang iisipin mo ngayon, dahil hindi ka niya pinansin, hindi mo rin siya papansinin. Ngayon, magkakaroon na ng miscommunication sa inyong dalawa. Magkakaroon ng barrier sa gitna ninyo. At hindi na kayo mag-uusap. Magkakagalit na kayo. Lalalim na yung pinag-awayan ninyo because of that lang. Kasi po, sa cognitive behavior therapy, you always look on the situation positive. You always look on the negative situation positively. Paano kung hindi ka lang niya napansin kasi nagmamadali siya? Paano kung hindi ka lang niya napansin kasi may iniisip siya? Nung dumating siya, may nangyari sa bahay nila, nagmagulo yung isip niya, hindi ka lang na napansin. So, kung gagawin mo yung cognitive behavior therapy, you are going to think of it positively. Ay, baka meron lang siyang iniisip or nagmamadali. Kaya hindi niya ako napansin. So, hindi mo iisipin na baka galit siya. Hindi mo iisipin na baka ayaw niya sa'yo. Cognitive behavior therapy, you turn negative situations into positive thoughts. From that way, you will communicate to your friend kung bakit kanya hindi pinansin. You will communicate para maiwasan ninyo na magkaroon kayo ng tampuhan or away. That is cognitive behavior therapy. Okay? So through this therapeutic intervention, an individual can change his or her thoughts, which leads to a change in his feeling and behavior. So, sabi ko nga kanina, from the negative situation, you change it into positive thoughts and your feeling and behavior will come next. Okay? So, magiging positive na rin yung feeling mo and behavior from those positive thoughts. Okay? And the key, therefore, is in the positive interpretation of things. Lagi niyo pong tatandaan, problema man yan, challenges man yan, suliranin sa buhay. If you look on it positively, if you always look on the positive side of those situations, you will have the solution right away. Kasi makakapag-isip ka ng maayos. So that is why kailangan mong i-assess the way you think, the way you express your feelings, and the way you act. Kung paano mo ipakita yung behavior mo sa ibang tao. That is very, very important. So lagi niyo pong tatandaan itong cognitive behavior therapy. Okay? You will put negative situations into positive thoughts, and your feelings and behavior will fall into its right place. Okay? I hope you learned something today. So if you have questions, so pwede po kayong magtanong. You can message me for questions. You can post questions to Moodle. You may ask questions directly to me. That's all for today. Please keep safe always and ingatan po ang ating mga sarili. Ingatan the way mag-isip, the way you feel, and the way you behave or act. Thank you so much. God bless.